Tina Turner and Let's Stay Together at your station. This is 103.6 Tameside Radio. Played you 911 before that with Body Shaking. It's 17 minutes past 11 now on Monday morning. Look at the sunshine, it's beautiful. This is your station, Tameside Radio, with myself, Rokib. We're doing your Monday's workday today, and as promised, in the studio with me now, I've got my special guest today. I'm so excited to speak to you guys as well. I've got Claire from Northwest Blood Bikes as well, and I've got Paul from Northwest Blood Bikes as well. Thank you so much for coming in, guys. I know that you have very busy schedules and what have you, but I noticed, because I've liked you on Facebook, and you can do the same too. If you're on Facebook, just search out Northwest Blood Bikes and give them a like, because obviously the more support that we can drum up, the better. And I've liked you, and the other day I noticed that on Facebook you put out a little message asking for more volunteers and for help with donations as well, which we'll talk about a little bit more about a little later on with you, of course. But first of all, I just wanted to introduce you, because, very excited to have you here. They've actually bought a bike and a car with them as well from Northwest Blood Bikes. Exciting. I can't wait to go and take some pictures afterwards. So welcome along to Tameside Radio. Hope you're doing well today. And I've got Claire, who I believe is a talkative one out of the two.
She certainly is.
Brilliant. So Claire, just quickly, just give us a brief introduction of who you are and what it is you do at Northwest Blood Bikes.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for inviting us, first of all.
No problem.
Blood Bikes Manchester's been around for a couple of years now, so we're still relatively a new charity, I suppose, but we are there to help our local hospitals and any medical charities, really, things like St Anne's Hospice, to provide a delivery service which runs on the out of hours, so the really unsociable hours, really, which we do fully free of charge for them. That's
just fantastic, isn't it? Because obviously you're all volunteers at Northwest Blood Bikes, like we were talking a short while ago, and it's just when you do stuff like voluntary work, you obviously have to sort of put aside your normal lives as well. And I presume that you do also work in I say normal lives, but in your other jobs or what have you. So when you do unsociable hours, it must take it out of you, mustn't it?
It is very tiring sometimes. I mean, I work full time. I work for a local council, so that my day job is busy, and I've also got a very young family as well. But you just manage to find the time. If it's something that you're passionate about and something that you really believe in, then you do find that time. And we all support each other as well, so it's quite good.
And it's such a great cause as well, because it's Northwest Blood Bikes, and obviously it's quite self-explanatory in the name, what you do. Paul here, I believe you're one of the riders?
I actually drive the response car.
Right.
I'm the chairman and trustee of the charity.
Okay.
One of the ones that set it up back in the latter end of 2011. But I don't ride the bikes, I just drive the car.
Right, okay, because I know that we have got one of your bikers here, but he was a bit too nervous to go. Which just surprised me, because he's a really big lad, isn't he? He's really. I was terrified when he walked through the door first, but no, he was too nervous to come on air with us today. But he is outside manning the bikes, and we're having some photos taken with him very shortly as well. We'll speak to you a bit more very soon, more about what it is you do, and we'll find out more about the funding appeal also that you've got going very soon. And we've got music on the way first, though, from a bit of James Arthur for you. Recovery is on the way next here on Monday's Workday at Tameside Radio. 11:27 at 103.6 Tameside Radio with James Arthur there, and Recovery on your Monday's Workday. This is Rokib. Hope you're doing well today. Thank you for having us on. In the studio then, we were just speaking a short while ago to Paul and Claire from the Northwest Blood Bikes. They man the area's blood bikes, supporting hospitals and medical services in the area. And these guys are absolute heroes. They are one of the unsung heroes that we have in the area. And they are unsung because you do sort of like weird shifts, don't you, like in the middle of the night, as we were talking a short while ago. And I find that amazing, because you were just telling me just off air, we were talking about how obviously you've got your own lives, you've got your jobs and what have you that you do on top of the voluntary work that you do for Northwest Blood Bikes as well, and you all work from home. You don't actually have a hub, a central hub that you work from?
No, we don't have an office. We literally work from our house, using our home phones, using our computers, and that's how we dispatch the riders and take the calls.
So the costs then must be personal to yourselves, mustn't
they? They are personal, yeah.
That's amazing when you consider that you might get a phone call at 4 a.m. and have to drag yourself out of bed and go and do your job.
Basically, if the phone rings at 4 o'clock, I've got to take the call, get out of bed, go downstairs, switch the computer on, dispatch the rider, get him out of bed, and then basically monitor the rider until he's done the job, completed the job, and got home safe, and then I could go back to bed.
That's so heartwarming. You know, when you think there are people out there that are looking after us like that, it's just amazing. And we were also talking about how obviously you've got costs that you have to meet, because obviously, you know, there are obviously going to be costs. And when you're working from your own homes, you're working for free. Do you get much support from funding from the government or anywhere else?
No, everything all the costs for the charity are all paid for by donations, fundraising, just people's support, local support.
So you do rely a heavy amount then on public support?
100% really. We completely rely on.
One of the things that actually struck me quite recently, and I don't know if you may have read it in the Tameside Reporter newspaper, they reported on it quite recently, about one of your riders who had his equipment stolen once he got home from a shift.
That's correct, yeah. He basically pulled up at his house on the motorbike. He had to take a call, so he went into his house. Obviously he left his helmet on the bike while he went in the house, and someone stole his crash helmet. But due to public support, it was actually shared throughout the social media sites. Just recently the helmet was actually returned, but obviously the rider could not use that helmet. It doesn't know what has happened to that helmet during the course of it being stolen. There was a local shop that actually supplied Kev with helmet and gloves so he can continue doing his shift.
That was really nice,
completely free of charge.
That's amazing, that, obviously, because it's so important. And I presume, because obviously you don't receive any sort of support with funding from any agencies or what have you, I presume you do buy your own equipment?
Yeah, all the riders provide their own equipment, which is obviously all the leathers that they've got to wear on the bikes. They provide their own helmets, the gloves, anything that they would normally use to ride their own motorcycles. As a charity, we just provide the high-vis vests to make them stand out a lot better.
And I bet they cost quite a fair bit, the equipment, don't they?
Yes, it does, yeah. On average, you're looking £300 for a crash helmet.
£300? Oh, my goodness. And they also have like your own logo and stuff on them, don't they? So they are really sort of...
Yeah, we are fully branded. All the motorcycles, in fact all the fleets are high-vis. You see them, you can't miss them, in all honesty. And the high-vis vests that the lads use as well.
We probably will miss them because you work at after o'clock in the morning, don't you? So
well, yeah, our shift normally starts at 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
works all the way through till 6 in the morning, and that's Monday to Thursday. On Friday, it's 7 o'clock at night all the way through till Monday morning.
Okay, well, we'll talk a bit more about the funding side of things very shortly. I was going to actually touch upon that with you, but you've just mentioned about how the sort of hours that you work and the times that you work. Tell us a bit about what sort of a day in the life of a bike rider or someone who mans one of the cars is like.
Well, obviously, as you said earlier, all the riders, the drivers, they've all got their own day jobs. So from a point of view where we actually, it's very hard to normally the lads will go on shift at 7:15. So from a duty controller point of view, let's say I was duty controlling, I would contact the lads and say, are you fit for duty at 7 o'clock? So they'd be sat at home with their little sat nav, and as soon as a call comes in from the hospital, let's say I was duty controlling, I would answer it. I'd take all the details, and then I'd dispatch the rider to wherever they're going. Basically they'll go and do a pick-up first, and then they'll be dispatched to the delivery address. As I said earlier, I've got to maintain watching the computer until we actually get home. So, and that's 7 o'clock, that's when we start. So there could be 4 call outs in a night.
Yeah.
You know, we really don't know.
And how important is it? What kind of... I mean, I know that you obviously Northwest Blood Bikes, you transport blood. Do you transport anything else as well?
Yeah, it's blood products. We run samples. We're currently doing quite a lot of samples for St Anne's Hospice, based over in Stockport area and Worsley. We also do samples for a local surgery which is based in Stalybridge Town Centre. Now we do that once a week. There is the donor breast milk, which we tend to do quite a lot of now for the neonatal units throughout the northwest. We'll go over to Chester, we'll pick up donated breast milk, and that obviously goes to the neonatal units, so we do quite a lot of that as well. We will take scans, medical equipment, basically anything that we can put on a bike that the NHS need between their hospitals, we will transport completely free of charge.
Wow. And that must be a huge support to a medical service that is obviously struggling with funds at the minute as well. You hear horror stories all the time as well about how things aren't great. Yeah. So that must be an absolutely massive amount of support.
The whole reason why we do it is because we want to save the NHS money.
Yeah.
We want to save them money so that they can redirect that into things that they really, really need to keep them going. So absolutely,
because obviously, we don't want to see the NHS disappear.
No, we need it.
Exactly. So things like the work that you do is just phenomenal, isn't it? It's absolutely brilliant. Right, well, we'll have a bit more music. We're going to play a bit of Phil Collins for you right now with Two Hearts. We'll come back to Claire and Paul very shortly and have a bit of a chat about some donations and funding initiatives that you've got, because obviously there's events that you do for fundraising as well, and of course the public support, which is so crucial. We'll have a chat about that too. Right after this, right here at your station. This is 103.6 Tameside Radio.